Mephibosheth is one of my favorite biblical characters. I like Mephibosheth. I appreciate Mephibosheth. I celebrate Mephibosheth because he serves as an example and a reminder that no matter what it looks like, no matter how rough it's been, no matter what the opinion of the naysayers and the critics, everything changes when the king comes calling. I wish I had somebody. Look at your neighbor and say, everything changes. Mephibosheth. Now his name is a tongue twister, but it's not nearly as twisted as his life. The Bible describes him as being lame on both of his feet. His story is tragic, you all, because he is hijacked of his heritage and delayed in his destiny of no fault of his own. Now to speak to the delay of destiny and unfulfilled purpose is nothing new to many of us, because we are accustomed to seeing people halted and hindered and held up, especially when it comes as a result of their own doing. As a matter of fact, we're quick to remind people, even while they're still suffering, that they brought it on themselves. But that's not the circumstance or the situation with Mephibosheth. The Bible would have us know he was destined to be a king. Everything was in place. Everything had been perfectly and precisely planned. He was in the lineage of Saul, Israel's first king. He came from the loins of Jonathan, whom the Bible describes as strong and handsome. So based on those two facts alone, the expectation would be that he would enjoy both good looks and a good life. But that's not how the story goes. Instead, when we find Mephibosheth, we see a twisted, bruised, incapacitated victim whose broken ankles and twisted limbs have left him exiled in a terrible place called Lodebar. Y'all praying with me? Now, rabbinic scholars say that Lodebar, when literally translated from the Hebrew, means place of no communication. Lo means no, debar means nothing, and debar is a derivative of the word devar, which means word. In other words, he's in a place, he's in a season where he's been unable to get a word. Are y'all praying with me? Have you ever been there? Is anybody here got a passport with a place called Lodebar stamped on your passport? Let me see if I can help you. When trusted friends turn their back on you, you could be in Lodebar. When you work on a job long enough to retire and the plant shuts down, or even worse, they just lock you out, you could be in Lodebar. When you've invested time, energy, and effort in a relationship only to discover why both of you were making withdrawals from the relationship, you were the only one making an investment in the relationship, you could be in Lodebar. When you tried to live right, be right, and do right, and all you seem to get, all you seem to have, all you seem to face ain't nothing but right, you could be in Lodebar. Y'all praying with me? Let the church say Lodebar. I suggest to you, saints of God, that Mephibosheth is a vivid picture of you and me, trying desperately to deal with our inward situations, all the while trying to reconcile our outward struggles. I wish I had somebody. Mephibosheth is a poster child for every man and every woman who should have been here, but instead they ended up there. And the reason for them being there in Lodebar, there in a season of silence rather than a season of success, is because just like so many of us, he was crippled by a fall. Something had transpired in his life that brought him to this lonely and desolate place. The Bible says that the word came from the battlefield that his father and his grandfather had been killed, and in an attempt to save his life, his nurse wraps him up and flees to save him from possible capture by an invading army. And while she was running in an attempt to help him, the Bible says she dropped him and ended up hurting him. Wait a minute, wait, time out, hold up. 2 Samuel chapter 9, pastor, said that he fell. But a scrutiny of the text reveals he didn't fall. Somebody dropped him. And my question for you this morning is, did somebody drop you? Pastor, I would have done more with my life, but somebody dropped me. I've not fulfilled my full potential and lived out my created purpose because somebody dropped me. I am what I am who I am by no fault of my own. Somebody dropped me. I had goals, I had visions, I had dreams, but I've watched them slowly become a nightmare because somebody dropped me. It's not my fault. Look at somebody and tell them, somebody dropped me. But against this backdrop of brokenness, we see a sign of blessing, because the text says he was summoned by the king. I wish I had somebody. Anybody thankful that even though some folks have dropped you, you can still be called by the king? So the Bible says that David says to Ziba, go find him and bring him back that I might show him some kindness. everything begins to change. When he is summoned by the king. Look at your neighbor and say, take me to the king. See, there are some of us in here, see, we need what the king has to offer. See, there's some folk in here, you ain't hung around today for no shape, form, or fashion. You came looking for the king. I wish I had somebody, because see, what I need no man can do. Look at somebody, say, take me to the king. What I need no medicine can do. Take me to the king. What I need no lawyer can do. Take me to the king. Don't you let Lo-Debar break you. Don't you let Lo-Debar steal your joy. Don't you let Lo-Debar rob you. Look at somebody and say, take me to the king. Is there anybody here that needs to make it to the presence of the king? The text says, oh God, that somebody dropped him. But the Bible says that when he made it to the king, he fell down. Because see, when you've been dropped by the wrong one, you don't mind falling for the right one. I wish I had somebody.